Now we're going to move to our third speaker, Franchi, who is the president of CONICET in Argentina and is also a senior researcher, and she's the president of the Argentine Network of Gender, Science, and Technology. And so she joins us today to talk about CONICET's actions toward gender diversity.
Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Let me present to you an overview on some actions towards gender diversity we have been working and promoting in CONICET, Argentina. CONICET, the National Scientific and Technical Research Council, is the main agency that fosters science and technology in Argentina and one of the most important public agencies in Latin America. It was created in 1958. The first president of CONICET was Bernardo José, Nobel Prize winner in medicine in 1947. Currently, CONICET is an autarkic entity that depends on the Ministry of Science, Technology, and Innovation. The Council mission is to foster and implement scientific and technology activities in the whole territory and all areas of knowledge for the improvement of the development and welfare of our society as we make scientific contributions worldwide. CONICET covers 4 great areas of knowledge: biomedical, natural and formal sciences, engineering and technology, social sciences, and humanities. As you can see in this slide, we are over 27 people working hard for science and technology in CONICET, which include researchers, technicians, administrative staff, and fellows for doctoral and postdoctoral studies. As you might know, Argentina is a quite big country. It covers an area of 2.78 million kilometers square, and you can find CONICET agents all over the country in different public or private universities and entities, although most of them work in Buenos Aires, our capital city, as you can see in the distribution in this map. So taking our region in Latin America, the female presence in science is quite important. Argentina is in the 4th position with 53% of women scientists. So why do we complain? In this slide, you can see in these 2 figures the evolution of the quantity of both female and male researchers in Argentina, which has been having a significant increase since 2004 and has reached the balance, the gender balance in 2011. In this slide, we take a period of 12 years, and you can see that the percentage of women in CONICET has increased a lot compared to the male researchers, from 49 to 53% of women researchers. So again, why do we complain? Here we have the clue. In this figure, you can see the distribution by genders according to the category achieved since the year they started working in CONICET as researchers. In CONICET, we have 5 categories from the lowest to the highest are assistant, associate or adjunct, independent, principal, and senior. You can see the ceiling perfectly here, where only 7% of women reaches the main category, superior, and almost 17% of men reached this category. In 2020, this was our chart regarding quantity of researchers by category and gender. 61% of assistant researchers are women, but only 25% of superior researchers are women. So there are over 53% women, but this is impressive how that percentage decreases as the category is higher. To sum up, there are more women at the base of the pyramid and more men at the top. 61% of women at assistants, 74 men of all superior researchers. Here we have another important issue to highlight. As I said, in CONICET, all disciplines are included, and that allows us to analyze the distribution by gender in each one and how well that is related to the gender biases. You can see here the gaps and deficits in some areas, and these gaps can be reflected in the number of publications as well. More women in most areas, biomedical, engineering and social, and disciplines, anthropology, biotechnology, psychology, education, medicine. Less women in the area of natural sciences in some disciplines as physics, informatics, and economics. There was an interesting survey from UNESCO in Argentina, Brazil, and Mexico that states that 46% of parents and teachers believe that boys will have better performance in STEM than girls. So in the very beginning, when the children are deciding their careers, there is a difference as parents and teachers find girls and boys as their facility to go to a scientific career, especially the STEMs. Let me tell you that our country is a pioneer in the region, a leader in which regards to policies and laws with diversity and gender perspective. And here are some examples for Argentine legal background. Gender quotas in politics, equal legal marriage for gay and lesbian couples, transgender identity law, Law Micaela, that is a training on gender and it's mandatory for every public employee, including our researchers and technicians and administrative staff. It was based on a girl who was murdered for gender violence and femicide, and also the abortion law and transgender quote within the public sector. So knowing the reality allows us to analyze and try to work not only in the solution for specific problems or situations, but on the causes. So now I will share you with some action we took in CONICET. For example, how the maternity leave was improved. In the case of fellows, they didn't have the common employees' rights at first, and that was especially changed in the case of female fellows. They can request maternity leave, of course, but also they will have an extension of their scholarship for an equal period of absence. Also, they can ask for an extended application period in case of pregnancy. Female researchers who are exempted from presenting the annual report in the year in which they had a child. And their extension on the scholarship application period due to pregnancy. Apart from adapting maternity and paternity leave to diversity, we are also working on other care measurements, which the pandemic made so evident. Care of the elderly on women, for example. In CONICET, we created an observatory of gender-based violence and violence at the workplace. Different activities and policies have been done, and it's very dynamic space. Protocols and guidelines aiming of creating safe and reliable spaces for affected people to share their situation or their experiences. Creation of spaces of counseling and reception of complaints. Pilot experiences in 11 regions and in partnership with universities. Creation of instruments and guidelines in response to gender-based violence and violence at the workplace, an information system, research register files, and a website in progress. Production of information material and seminars and trainings of Law Micaela. We also cooperate with international, of course, legal and background helps, but also helps the synergy among institutions. So from CONICET, we keep our articulation strong by collaboration with different ministers, like the Ministry of Science, with the creation of a national program of gender equality in science, technology, innovation, with the Ministry of Women, Gender and Diversity, a special recognition of the scientific work against COVID-19, We also cooperate with international entities like L'Oréal UNESCO with the L'Oréal UNESCO Award for Women in Science, and especially mentioned to female researchers. With the Global Research Council, we have active participation in gender working groups of different entities. This year, we attend to Casa Rosada, which is the government main building, and it has a special room of scientists. The thing is that until this year, only 2 pictures of women were between 18 pictures of men. And that had to change. So in February of this year, the room that was the scientist room became the Argentine science room, and the pictures of important Argentine female scientists now are shown there. Here is a picture of that day, and among the women we can find the first female engineer in Argentina and Latin America, psychologists, theology, mathematics, philosophy researchers, medical experts, and even the first group of women who led an expedition to the Antarctic. Many disciplines were included in order to make it visible for all of us that the participation of women in science is not new. Going back to some other ongoing action in CONICET, boards or committees composed only by men will not fund it or sponsor, so that gender equity is always encouraged. Gender suicides who have been denounced will not be denounced by violence, gender violence, will not be allowed to direct fellows nor researchers. Researchers who have been denounced will not be allowed to apply for institute director positions. We have recognized the transfer rights, new names and authorships, updating records, gender transition process will recognize equivalent to maternity leaves, etc. We have now gender-based violence in leaves and protection within and outside the workplaces. Also, we have collaborated in the creation of kindergarten and breastfeeding spaces for breastfeeding. All these actions were taken with a federal scope. As I said, Argentina is a big country, and every state has its own reality, which has to be considered. There is still a long way to go before men and women have equal opportunities in their careers, which will not be possible without change to ensure that the voices, contribution, and excellence of women scientists are placed at the top of the political, research, and civil society's agendas. You can find our updated information on our website or social media work. Thank you so much for your attention.